students. That happened a couple meetings ago.
Hi. So tonight we're going to describe the onboarding process for our support staff positions. I'm Cindy Bias, CFO. In addition to the finance department, I oversee the facilities department, transportation, and child nutrition. Chris Friend, our director of facilities, was not able to be here tonight, so I'm going to cover the facilities department. But I have here with me Mike Heyman, our director of transportation, and Carmen Fisher, our director of child nutrition, who will talk about their departments. So let's get to it and start by talking about our new custodians. So in the custodial department, we have 201 total positions. 128 of those are evening custodians, 73 are daytime custodians. We have 67 total openings at this time, but about half of those FTEs are filled by part-timers. This is much better than when we hit our high of 91 actual vacancies without any part-time fillers back in the fall of 2023. And that's due both to the efforts of our communications department with the ad campaign and all the other outreach that they do, as well as the way that we are posting vacancies now and the cooperation of our HR department. So we've tried many different ways of posting the vacancies for custodians, from keeping just a single daytime posting and evening posting out there all the time, to posting each individual vacancy at each individual building. But the method that we settled on at the beginning of this year that just seems to be working really well for us is that we post one daytime vacancy and one evening vacancy per quadrant. So this allows us, as we bring people in, to eventually assign them to the place where we have the greatest need, but allows them to apply for the position without fear that they're going to, be assigned somewhere totally opposite what they expected in our 150 square miles of district that we have here. So all new custodians begin their journey at Eureka High School, where the training is led by Joe Trimberger. He's our most experienced custodial supervisor. This is a 2 or 3 week process, depending on how quickly we need to get them out into the buildings, but typically 3 weeks, where they learn about all the equipment that they will have to be using, the backpack vacuums, the floor scrubbers, the autonomous floor scrubbers, and they learn about all the chemicals that they will be using. We go over all the chemical data safety sheets with them and train them on everything that they will need to know. We do have a written training manual that we use, and in addition to continuous feedback throughout that process, they're evaluated weekly, given a formal evaluation weekly, and a final evaluation informs the assignment that they're going to have. We determine the best placement for them according to their strengths. Some people are just more suited to an elementary school, while some people might be better suited to a high school situation or middle school. So we determine their best placement according to their strengths and our needs, and we do take their preference into consideration. Once they go to a building, the building lead gives specific training on that building, things that they'll need to know, what their route needs to be, all of that. And then the quadrant supervisor, as well as the building lead, is going to perform regular quality control checks and provide ongoing feedback to that new custodian. Our internal people already in our positions can see the openings throughout the district at any time and request changes if they would like to. Even though there is a custodial union, we don't bid the work like some unions might. We place them, and they're able to request changes anytime during the year or apply for lead positions once they get some experience. And when we're placing our lead custodians, the principal of the building is part of that decision. The principal will participate in those interviews. A couple of our other quadrant supervisors, we have 4 quadrant supervisors, 1 at each quadrant. They all report directly to Chris Friend, and they lead that interview and placement process. We have a lot of professional development for our custodians throughout the year, a summer kickoff meeting, semi-annual conferences on the teacher PD days, and on other non-student days we'll have training if changes are being made, new equipment, new chemicals, things that they might need training on. In our grounds and maintenance department, in grounds we have 2 divisions. We have 6 athletic techs who take care of caring for our turf. It takes a lot more care than you might think. Striping the fields, getting the fields prepared for all the events, that is their job. We have 15 mowing and landscaping techs and 1 ground specialist. Right now we have 4 openings in mowing and landscaping. In our maintenance department, we have 44 total positions, 11 HVAC, 11 electrical, 7 plumbers, 4 painting, 10 carpentry, and 1 shop lead. Right now we have 1 opening in HVAC and 2 openings in electrical. So the facilities department really does have quite a career path going. Chris Friend is an example. You know, he started 30 years ago as a painter in the district. We all the time are promoting or changing custodians into the grounds department, grounds technicians into the maintenance department, and so on. So that in and of itself, I think, is part of the way that we take care of our employees. We make sure that they get opportunities to learn these additional jobs and move into them. Our maintenance hires typically have experience, and often they already have certifications in their area of that they'll be working in, electrical, HVAC, that sort of thing. So their on-the-job training consists mostly of just learning the buildings and grounds and learning what their responsibilities are, learning their routes that they will take. Grounds people too. We have teams of 3 grounds workers that all travel together, and they have their regular route where they're responsible for taking care of those buildings. And again, these folks have training throughout the year. For our maintenance staff, we use the Missouri School Plant Managers Association certification as professional development for them. The MSPMA has a core certification program where you can learn all about school plant management. And Chris Friend has been very involved in that. He's taught a lot of those classes. And in fact, in June, we are hosting a 2-day training for DESE, for the DESE certification. And people who attend that training, at the end, they are certified. We also encourage our maintenance staff to participate in their trade associations and participate in any training that might be provided by those associations. So our internal training, we have actually, it's a semi-annual conference. It's twice a year with all facilities staff. It's really quite an event. The Rockwood School District has great PD already set up for all of our support staff, and Mike and Carmen in their departments do as well. But what we do in the facilities department is we bring in outside speakers, we bring in our local police and fire departments so that our employees can get new information on things that are not just the day-to-day how to clean the floors. They get a lot of training on a lot of things that have to do with managing the maintenance of the buildings. We bring in other Rockwood departments. HR comes a lot to present information on the benefits, Community ed comes in. We do a lot of communication with community ed because, of course, our custodial staff is a big support to that program as well. And then we bring in vendors. Our semi-annual conferences are almost like a little wellness fair sometimes, where we bring in all of these other vendors to provide information. We want to be sure that they're aware of all their benefits and you know, things that they might not otherwise be able to take advantage of. Okay, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Mike to talk about transportation.
Red, forward, red.
No,
Is that one? Okay, sorry. Good evening. The transportation department is a very unique department. We have to train employees to take care of the most sensitive cargo that is out there. There is an extensive training process in place. It goes by ELDT, the Entry Level Driver Training Program. This program was put in place in February 7th of 2022. It was actually supposed to go in place the year before, but because of COVID, when they rolled out all the guidelines, it was pushed back. Now, I will say this about Rockwood and our safety manager, Jay McKenna. We were ready to roll a year earlier than it rolled out. There are certain guidelines that have to be in effect now because we train CDL drivers that can also drive trucks, right? They wanted to incorporate that into our training so that the people who had the CDLs and obtained the Class B CDLs could do either. So we had to incorporate that into our training, which means the training got a little longer and a little bit more tedious. We don't train on air brakes because we don't have air brakes on our buses. They're all hydraulic. But in 2022, the actual program needed to be in place. The program begins with each applicant when they're hired and ends when they obtain their commercial driver's license. There's 3 phases of the program. ELDT ensures that all participants entering the industry are trained in safely operating commercial motor vehicles in accordance with law and regulations. Phase 1, is theory. A set of minimum standards for commercial drivers and education that aims to standardize the safety and training of all professional truck drivers and bus drivers nationwide. The importance there is consistency, because the laws and the statutes require that they understand everything. The setting for this training is in the classroom. We have our new facility at the Wildwood location has a beautiful training classroom. There it is there. There's one of our trainers, Deb Henson, and Elise is going over some review of some training. There are some 300 topics taught in this training session, which lasts 25 to 30 hours. It is compact. It is important that the trainees participate daily and they don't miss days because they'll lose what they learned. There's so much information. We try to keep it condensed as much as we can and keep them on track, if that makes sense. We don't want to leave a lot of time in between. There are times where we'll train on a Saturday to keep the momentum. And it's all in preparation for the main testing with the Highway Patrol. And there's 3 parts, and that we teach that. And we have like almost a 99% first-time pass with them. So in the classroom, some of the topics of the 300 topics, just to give you some ideas, okay? Bus driving, defensive driving program. There's pre and post trip of the vehicles. This is a very important part of it because there's a walkthrough. It's phase 1 where they're doing the test, and they have to point out individual things that they're looking at, and if they don't touch base to those certain points, it's a fail. So it's very important. And they don't prompt you. They let you keep talking. So we got that. We talk about intersection awareness, safe backing, danger zones. Danger zones are a real hot topic. Those of you that aren't aware of a danger zone, it's basically a 15-foot rectangle around the school bus. Most of the I hate to say it, but most of your tragic accidents happen around that area. A child drops a paper, we don't know if they're under the bus rolls. Not very good. So we really stress danger zones. Pedestrian and bicycle safety, adverse weather conditions as far as the driving. We're fortunate that buses are a lot better now than they used to be with traction control, which really helps us. Driver fatigue, we discussed driver fatigue, drug and alcohol prevention, safe bus stops, passenger management, which is huge, checking for sleeping students. It's cold winter day, right? And Joey just got up out of bed, now he's on a bus and it's nice and warm and toasty and he falls asleep. We have to check that bus to make sure that we get them off at their school that they're supposed to be at. It's very important. We talk about the evacuation procedures. We actually perform a front door and a rear door procedure at each school. First semester front door, second semester back door. The drivers do an excellent job of that. If you ever have an opportunity, if you want to see that, let us know and we'll let you go out to the schools and watch it. It's fun to see. These are just a few of the topics covered. There are a final test that requires an 80% passing grade, and the classroom trainings phase takes at least 25 to 30 hours, depending on how well the students are doing. We won't push them faster than their pace allows. Phase 2 is range. Range is the commercial driver's license CDL skills set that the trainee will be tested on during the practical portion of the final test. During this phase, the trainee becomes familiar with the mirrors on a vehicle. Those of you that have, I don't know if anyone's driven larger vehicles, but you use your mirrors to define the extensions of your vehicle in conjunction with the area that you're in. So you have to know that if there's a wall behind me when I'm backing up, based on a ground viewing habit in my mirrors, I know I will stop before hitting that wall. I know I'll stop before when I pull into a school and I know that the parameters of my vehicle and I check my mirrors, I know that my back tires aren't going to hit the curb. Okay, so it's awareness of your vehicle. That's a tough piece to train because a lot of people aren't used to driving a 40-foot long vehicle. And a lot of them, once they get it, they feel really good about it. We teach them how to do alley backing, okay? And alley backing is when it's a straight back, right? And the test goes like 15 inches from the line to pass. You have to be that close. There's also offset backing to where here's your line to back in and you come from a different angle at it. We have left and right hand turns. There's a straight line as well, diminishing clearance as well. Have you ever driven down the street where you got two cars and you got to drive between them and they kind of are like this? Well, that's kind of the diminishing clearances to make sure you keep your vehicle straight and go through them all. It's very neat. So we have that obstacle course, we'll call it. The skills test course is mapped out on at our Wildwood bus lot. The CDL practical test uses a forward stop line, a straight line, as I said, forward offsetting and tracking reverse. This is probably one of the biggest things to get a driver to feel comfortable behind the wheel, because once they realize where their bus is and they have that confidence, then they can move forward. Then instead of doing 10 miles an hour down the street, they're doing the speed limit, if that makes sense. Confidence is huge with a bus driver. It's huge. Phase 3, public. This is a neat part that this was enacted, is they wanted to make sure that our school districts had specifically mapped out training routes that would introduce the trainee driver to all the little things that they're going to come across, from railroad crossings to busy streets to intersections to some of our windy rural roads, right, that aren't even 2 lanes wide with no shoulders. So we have a north route and a south route that we take our trainees on, and we have them go through that. That gets them comfortable with the district. As another part of that, we also make sure that we involve the school's locations with that, because a lot of our trainees, they're new to the district and they need to know where the schools are, right? So we incorporate the schools with this training as well, so they're familiar with the schools and where they're at and where they're located. This is a big part is railroad crossings. We have the Eureka railroad crossings. You're all familiar with that, right? And it's very, very important that our drivers understand and they make sure that the kids, and those of you that don't know, we have to stop a minimum of 15 feet before the lights that come down, right? The bus must stop. They must open their doors, open their windows. All the kids have to get quiet so they can hear and look, right? And they have to clear the intersection, make sure it's cleared both ways before they can proceed. So if you're ever behind a flammable truck or a school bus, that's why they stop. You may be thinking, well, the light's not down. No. We got to make sure that it's clear before we cross with the kids. So Each year, every driver participates in an on-road safety evaluation. This is a 2-hour ride with one of our trainers that goes over about 200 different things, checking your mirrors, okay, using your signals, making sure that your acceleration is not too fast, and making sure that you're abiding by the laws of the road. And anything that the driver or the trainer feels that they need additional training on, we'll do follow-up training with them. We also perform the same retrain on any driver that has any type of an accident, whether it be their fault or not. We want to make sure that we reenact what happened and get them to understand what they could have done better. In conjunction with the teachers' PD days, the transportation department has its own. Drivers attend safety training sessions. I always have and make sure I have inclement weather training. I don't care how long you've been driving. It's always good to have a refresh when it comes to inclement weather and that. And some of the key things that I like to preach is you do everything slower, right? You let off the accelerator, you coast. You can slip it into neutral and disengage your transmission so it slows you down, so you don't have to hit the brake so hard and bite a skid, right? Also, when you start off slow. So it's reteaching yourself how to do things when it's slick. Lot procedures, student evacuation drill, we go over all that again. EpiPen use, we have nurses come in and do some training with us. We've had guest speakers. One of the guest speakers that really stands out is railroad crossings. We did Operation Lifesaver. They had videos and things which were pretty tough to see, but sometimes that makes a heck of a lasting impression when you think about it. This year we put together Rockwood's bus behavior management guidelines with the help of the Eureka drivers, LaSalle Springs administrators, Cindy, and myself. We presented and put together the guidelines for student management, and Dr. Suggs helped us with the presentation. The guidelines have improved student bus behavior tremendously. I think the main thing about this that we put in place was it gave our drivers the assurance that if they had an issue on their bus, that they had the backing and the support, not only from the schools, not only from myself and my team and Cindy, but they had our support. That goes a long way with school bus drivers that are driving 65 plus kids behind them, right, every day. And anything we can do to make their day a little better and make them feel more valued and more important is what we're trying to do. There's a lot that goes into it. I know I breezed over a lot of things, but at any time, if you'd want to hear more, I'd be more than happy to share, and you could come in and visit with our safety training classes.
Yeah.
It'd be very nice. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Let us see you drive a bus.
Well, you know, we teach you.
Dr. Kane.
And Carmen.
Okay, so we're going to skip past secretaries and come back to that, but Carmen will tell you about child nutrition.
Good evening. We all know that the first days and weeks in a new role set the tone for long-term success. Tonight I'll walk you through child nutrition's approach to onboarding, highlighting how we support new staff both professionally and personally through mentoring and training. New managers we hope to have hired for the new school year by June, so in that event we can have them prepare them up with an experienced manager during summer academy so they become familiar with our recipes, our procedures, just become familiar with the program if they haven't had previous school experience. It's a great opportunity for us to do some training.
Turn on her mic.
What?
Which one? Turn on this.
It'll turn red.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Summer Academy gives us that opportunity to teach and train new managers. So we currently, for next school year, will have 3 managers that will be posting soon and hope to have those folks hired so that we can get them some experience during Summer Academy. We also created last year a new position called Manager in Training. So if someone's interested in becoming a manager, this gives them the opportunity to work in our schools, visit a variety of school buildings, work with a variety of managers, and become educated about our programs. And so when a manager position becomes available, they would be eligible and could certainly apply for that position. So we're excited about that, and we have someone participating or classified as a training manager in training, so we're hoping that he'll be interested in applying for one of our open positions. In August, we have our back-to-school meetings. We have a manager meeting, first of all, where we'll go through all of our changes, new regulations, new product. Also gives the opportunity for our managers, new and experienced, to get to know each other and team up, and, collaborate. So we also, after that, we'll have a all-staff where we bring all of our staff in to educate again and have different training sessions. Often that looks different year to year. It's always a little bit of a challenge to find a spot to host over 100 child nutrition staff. So each year looks different. Sometimes it's by quadrant, sometimes it's all of them. So we kind of play it by ear to see what space is available for us to have those programs. So we also have Serve Safe classes and exams. Our dietitian and training supervisor host this twice a year, where they educate our managers. All are required to be Serve Safe certified. The child nutrition assistants can